What's up guys, I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Drivin and Vibin.
Today we're talking about the 5 biggest compromises we've had to make during this Airstream renovation, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. This video was inspired by a question we got from a member of the Vibe Tribe, and they wanted to know what some of the compromises we had to make along the way, and we thought this was a really good thing to address.
And these are not compromises that Olivia and I have made together. These are kind of compromises that we've made with the Airstream based on time and money.
These were all things that we really wanted done and in our dreaming, planning phase had planned to do, but when it came down to the reality of it, we either didn't have the time or money to do it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, renovating the Airstream is not our hobby or our passion. It just facilitates us to get back out on the road with a bigger space and with some of the amenities we want.
Yeah, we had kind of put this deadline on ourselves because we don't want to be stationary forever again. So we kind of had to give ourselves a little bit of a timeline to push us along.
So let's go ahead and hop into these 5 compromises. The first one is a gray water tank addition. This is one of the biggest challenges we had in our fiber stream, not having a big gray water capability. So we wanted to make sure whenever we moved into this Airstream that we could hold a ton of gray water.
Yes, so we thought we would be able to combine a gray and black tank. Turns out there wasn't a black tank ever under the rig. It was actually a tank that sat inside above the floor in the bathroom, and the toilet kind of sat on top of it, and that was removed when the previous owner gutted it. So we had one, I think 21-gallon gray tank under there, and in order to expand our capacity, we would have had to get rid of that and get 2 gray tanks that we would then connect to one another.
And the other option was we could order a custom gray tank, so we didn't have to have 2. But what we found in our research was, first, whenever we went to order one and bite the bullet, it actually wasn't in stock. And then secondly, they're really expensive. So
if we would have gone the route of getting the 2 gray tanks and connected them together, it would have been $386 for both of the tanks. I think it's about $193 a piece. And in addition to that, they weren't exactly the right size. We could have made it work, but we still would have had to do some modifications to the frame and the tray that holds the gray tank to make them fit properly. Plus you're adding on the extra cost of however many additional connection points you want on the tank, which we would have had to figure out, and we were just a little confused and overwhelmed with everything we were already working on.
It was probably a blessing that it was out of stock, so we just stuck with our original gray tank. That was one of the first big compromises we've made. We were able to make the original gray tank work, no leaks, so that's great, and we could save some money that way.
Yes, and it's a much bigger capacity than we had in the fiber frame. It's already an upgrade. We just wanted more. So next up on our list is not getting a professional paint job done on the rig.
We want this thing to look beautiful inside and out. Since we're putting so much effort into building it out, we don't want the exterior to look any less than the interior.
But when it comes down to it, it will save us so much money if we do it ourselves. And we've had the great opportunity to work with Eastwood in the past. And so they're gonna send us the professional spray gun and all the automotive paint we need to do it ourselves. So now we just have to get over the learning curve of learning how to paint it, but we have really great quality products. So I think it will turn out a beautiful finish.
Yeah, definitely. And it probably won't be to the professional quality, but I do think it will be professional enough looking that it doesn't look like an amateur job either.
It'll be better than a roll-on paint job. We did the roof that way so we could get the solar panels up there, and it's just not great. It's got that orange peel texture to it, and it just would need a lot of work to get it looking really great. So I think spraying it on is going to be the way to go, and using some really high quality paints.
And the money is the biggest savings here. You know, the time, it would still probably take equal amounts of time to take it somewhere and get it painted. But we just don't have the money for a expensive paint job right now, as much as I would like to.
And the estimates I've seen floating around of other people who have had them done was around $5,000. So, I mean, that's a huge chunk of change for us to kind of hold on to, put towards getting our new truck, and especially something that's cosmetic. If it's not 100% like perfect, that's fine. I want it to look nice and refreshed and beautiful, obviously, but we can look into a professional job down the road.
Next up on the list of compromises is having a heated floor. This was one of our early ideas that we thought, since we're gutting it down to the core, we can really live the high life and have that floor nice and warm when we get up in the morning.
The floor is warm.
That's the radiant subfloor heating.
Yeah, so this would be something we would only ever really use when we had hookups, because I'm pretty sure it'd be a useless power drain when we were out boondocking, but it sounded nice to have.
And there are different ways to do it as well. If we didn't want to go the electrical route, some people do hot water through their floors.
Yeah.
But just the way that Airstreams work, especially these vintage Airstreams, that space just really wasn't there once we dove into it and took a look at its guts.
Yes, and we're trying to save weight in every single aspect possible. They do make these very thin, like roll out little sheets that you can put under your flooring. So that is an easy addition if we ever want to upgrade in the future.
But at the end of the day, heated floors had to go out the window for now, and it was one of the big compromises we made, but I think it's going to be for the better.
Yeah, it was an unnecessary convenience that got the cut. So next up on our list is not being able to tilt our solar panels.
Tilting the solar panels is a great addition so you can have maximum sunlight no matter what angle you're at, but it just didn't make the cut for us because whenever we're balancing so many projects at one time, to put that extra attention towards the tilting solar panel, it just missed the cut.
Yeah, and part of the issue was we had to custom build these brackets ourselves to make it fit the curve of our roof properly and to be able to get them nice and level up there. And so trying to engineer some way to make the tilting mechanism as well as trying to get that angle right, we didn't have the time for it. We had our helping hands, the Mortons on the move, were leaving in just like a day, and this was the last big project they were sticking around to help us out with, and they stayed so much longer than they were planning to already. So we wanted to just knock this project out, get them installed, and have them usable.
And there are lots of ways to do these tilting solar panels that we've researched online. Some of them have automated tilts, and some of them you have to get up there and tilt yourself. So there are options down the road, I think. But just for now, we're happy to have 640 watts of solar on the roof. Now, the last compromise was probably one of the hardest to come to this decision, but it is having a rear bed versus a front bed.
Yeah, so when I was originally trying to come up with layouts and we were talking about things, we wanted a bedroom in the rear so that we would have more privacy. We didn't want it right when we opened the door. But just when it comes down to it, I tried every different layout possible, but with the size of our rig, it just did not make sense. To put the bedroom in the back, it would be completely closed in. You would kind of have to climb into a cave back there, which sounds nice, but when it comes to making the bed, I know how difficult it is to have all four corners closed in already in the Fiberstream, and that was not something I wanted to have to deal with. Plus, the bathroom would be on the side in that case, and it just ate up all of the walkway. So it wasn't an open, flowy, functional space, and it made way more sense to put the bed in the front.
Yeah, the Airstream Argosy Minuet, which we have, is about 1 foot narrower than a traditional Airstream. So like Olivia said, that bathroom was kind of like the compromise that led to the bed compromise. Yeah. We just couldn't fit those puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, we would, if we did the bathroom on the side in a way that we could still easily walk down the Airstream, we would have barely been able to get into this bathroom and shower. They would have been so small. So we just tried to make everything as functional as possible and very aesthetically pleasing as well. This is going to be our home and where we live, and having a giant big structure consuming our whole space wasn't really what we wanted.
But fear not as far as these compromises go. With the exception of the bed compromise, every other project we can do going forward in the future.
Yes, all of these are things that will be simple upgrades on their own, but in the middle of the totality of the whole renovation, they were things that just didn't make the cut. But we definitely do have options going forward if we want to expand our gray tank capacity or to be able to tilt our panels. All of that is so easily doable, and just I think we actually end up really liking the front bed. You know, we were kind of resistant to it at first, but now that we are actually in the space. It is so open and airy, and we love it. So I don't think we're gonna regret it.
Most definitely. And with our 3 years of experience living and traveling in a vintage trailer already, we know it's a constant work in progress, and that's just part of the territory.
Yes, and if we had all the time in the world to work on this, then we would have definitely taken the time to do all of these things. But our goal right now is to get moved in and get back out on the road, and we can do little projects along the way, but I'm ready to move in.
Me too. So thank you guys for watching. Let us know if any of those compromises surprised you. Some of them definitely surprised us.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Later on.